Hey you guys, welcome to Splinterlands TV. It is I, the Psy, and we are back with another video. It's been a while since I've made one because unless I have something to talk about, I'm not going to record. And in this case, I do have something interesting that's come up. It's in regards to a message that I actually posted within Town Hall on Discord, and it involves the leaderboard and a revamp of the leaderboard. More specifically, I would say, extending the leaderboard rewards. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to read verbatim the comments I put on Discord because, I think I made a pretty compelling case for extending the leaderboard beyond the top 50. And I'd really like to know what you guys think about this as well, because I got a little bit of communication back from Matt, and I'll read that to you at the same time. So just getting right into it here. Let's go over to Town Hall. Thought it was ready. Of course I wasn't. Here we go. So question. Will you be rewarding more than the top 50 players in each mode, Wild and Modern, or changing the payout method to packs, I believe was the vote, for leaderboards? Having only 50 rewarded position per mode is far less than when there were multiple leagues, which results in less competition. We used to have rewards for every league, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Diamond, and Champ, and now there's only Champion. What happened to the other leagues' rewards? This has been brought up multiple times and everyone seems to agree, but there's never any action taken. I know for me personally, I used to be a top 50 in Diamond, but now I don't even compete for the leaderboard, which has sucked away a lot of the fun and competition to the point where I just bought Wild because there's no point in competing for that leaderboard. Will this ever be changing? There was already a discussion of top 100, but it's never actually been actioned. I look forward to competing for the leaderboard again, but in its current form, multiple scholars playing all the top accounts and so few actual leaderboard positions that I don't see the point. Even worse would be if we do get 1,000 more players who never have the chance to experience the former joy of competing for the leaderboard prizes, because there are even more players fighting for fewer prizes. Leaderboard is the carrot to further investment and competition. SPS alone is not enough of a draw. And then we've got Quasar who kind of chimes in here, and Quasar used to be one of the people that would also fight for the leaderboard. I remember he and I having quite a few exchanges on Discord, being like, haha, I'm in 49th now, and he'd be like, no, I just bumped you down, and then I'd end up in 51st, and I'd be totally out of it. So Quasar was another one of those leaderboard competitors, and he said it's a psychological thing, I think. Players need a safe or fair environment where they can compete with each other based on their level of investment and get appropriate rewards for being best in their league. Competing for some extra SPS or GLINT from battle rewards isn't going to cut it. It's just a grind. Leaderboards, on the other hand, motivated me to rent extra cards to reach that sweet spot and get a prize for my efforts. Now I have no hope of ever competing for the top spots, which decreases my fun dramatically, and I'm sure other people who used to be on the leaderboards in Bronze, Silver, Gold, and Diamond feel similar. Now this is also something that's been brought up a lot. I'm not going to go too deep into this part, which is the removal of leagues themselves. In this particular video, I'm just going to be talking about kind of the removal of the leaderboard rewards that used to belong to those leagues and how it wasn't further distributed into the singular league that we have right now. And just so you guys know what I'm talking about, every one of the leagues, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Diamond, and Champ, used to have its own leaderboard, right? And that would push people to actually play for that leaderboard to try and get rewards. And in doing so, you might rent a few extra cards so you could get into that top 50 and in turn get something back that isn't just GLINT, or just the SPS rewards from battling. But now, as you can see, we've only got in Modern, we got 1 through 50. And it's the same rewards that were always there. It's not like they said, hey, we're going to double these rewards for 1 through 50. It was just straight up the removal of Bronze, Silver, Gold, and Diamond rewards from Modern. And again, here in Wild, again on the leaderboard, the removal. And see, it's not like I have a hope of even getting a top 100 here, but in Modern, maybe. And again, you can see it's just 1 through 50, and the same rewards that were always here in Champ, and Bronze, Silver, Gold, and Diamond didn't get folded into these. So what basically I'm proposing at this point in time, I'll finish with the Discord here part because it does explain it pretty good. So the next thing I say is, while the removal of the league's experiment is still being justified, I'm not willing to argue that point anymore. If you remember, I made a pre-proposal to choose your league and it was a nightmare for me, so I won't touch that again. So in a lot of ways, I don't know why I'm kind of putting my neck out on the line to try and possibly make another proposal at this point, because when I did try and do that league lock proposal, it was just hours and hours of back and forth, and even though most of the community seemed to support getting a league lock back in place, Matt was against it, which is cool. It's his prerogative to do so. But there were also certain players who were against it as well. And it just devolved into like I don't want to say arguing, but just like a constant debate over and over for days on end, that I just don't know if I have like the energy to go through something like that again. We'll see. I mean, I'm making this video and maybe this is the first step, right? However, what happened to the rewards from Bronze, Silver, Gold, and Diamond leaderboard? It would only seem fair that if Bronze, Silver, Gold, Diamond were all folded into one league, the Champion League, that at least that leaderboard reward from BSGD would be distributed now to this singular league. Instead, they were just removed and not replaced, which is not just a removal of the league, but a deletion of those leagues' leaderboard rewards without replacing them, which results in even less overall rewards given out. Why weren't they immediately redistributed in the form of rewards for places 51 to 100 or even up to 150? Especially in light of the fact that it's known, and here's a big point too, all right, that scholars take up a large portion of the leaderboard right now, and they can't play against the other accounts they pilot, which gives them a huge advantage to take up these very limited leaderboard positions. I'll bet that 25 of the top 50 positions are probably the same 5 or 10 people, which leaves almost no leaderboard spots for non-scholars right now. Now, this is another debate when we're talking about the scholars themselves, but we know that if a scholar is piloting 5 accounts, they can't play more than one of those accounts at the same time. And if they're the only ones piloting it and they're in 1st through 5th, that means 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place will never have to compete against each other, right? Which means that those 5 spots are basically safe from that scholar, who are all really skilled. Let's face it. Like, we know that Charles FTW, for instance, is amazing. And that puts 5 of his accounts into a mode. And again, I'm just using his name. I don't know if he has 5. I don't know if he has 10. I don't know if he only does 1, into a mode where they'll never face each other, which basically means that they'll be safe on the leaderboard from not having to face other Charles FTWs, you know? I'm not even saying give us back more than we had. I'm just questioning how we still don't even have at least that leaderboard reward equity of the former league's leaderboard. They were literally just removed the leagues and all the rewards that came from them without putting them back into a singular league. And I don't believe we should need a DAO vote to put these back into the game. There was no DAO vote to remove the leagues, so it shouldn't be required to keep the existing rewards, the former existing rewards, I should say, within the ecosystem. We're not asking for more rewards, just those pre-existing rewards redistributed to more positions. This was a company decision, so the company should be able to do this on their own. So I don't think, like, I know that now it's probably become a DAO thing with the whole DAO system. I don't know how I feel about DAO and SPS and everything like that as well, but I mean, this is the system that we play in. But there was no DAO vote to remove the leagues. There was no DAO vote to remove the leaderboard prizes that came with them. So I think that if the company wanted to, they should just be able to say, hey, you know what? We're putting those former rewards that weren't voted on through the DAO to be removed, be put back. But I mean, that will come a little bit later on when that comes up again here. Mushroom says it's just one of the many examples of how things are being done here. In the case of leaderboard prizes, they probably want to cut DEC expenses without upsetting top players. And I mean, it's all cool to try and remove DEC inflation, but I don't think that removing the carrot on the stick to have people play and fight for those leaderboard rewards and build that excitement for competitive players was the right way to make a deflation, if you know what I'm referring to there. So then I say, I probably have less issues than most of the direction things are going in Splinterlands. I'm actually optimistic, which you might not get that feel from this video, but with all the things that are coming up in the future, I am fairly optimistic with it. But I was a competitive player for years, and there was never a time as fun as the last few days of a season used to be when you're fighting for the leaderboard. I remember we'd all talk about our placings in Tavern and compliment each other if we leaderboarded. We'd trash talk each other in a friendly way and lament falling just shy of a leaderboard position after renting and grinding the last hour or two trying to earn a few points. All that is gone now because the same people at the top who've always been at the top, and they're mostly scholars, so very few individuals and unique players. The scholar issue is a problem for another time, but clearly having the same people take multiple leaderboard positions while not ever needing to face themselves is questionable. That's all the more reason why we need more leaderboard positions. I just want that feeling back that we used to have at the end of a season and the competition there used to be amongst us, and I'm sure others remember those times as well. And I mean, there's also something to be said for the fact that we've had a lot of other rewards already being removed, right? Now the soulbound cards that we get are soulbound. You can't just instantly sell them. You need to use DEC to unlock those soulbound cards. So they've removed that as one of the incentives that we used to be able to get as well. So they've taken away the leaderboard. They've taken that away as well. It would be nice to give something back in that form. And I mean, Glint is all fine and dandy, but I mean, Glint just leads to more of those soulbound cards. I mean, you can get energy out of the chest, which is great and does result in further SPS and GLINT earnings if you were to win. But I mean, the leaderboard was, to me, the carrot on the stick that had me renting cards in order to be able to achieve that top 50 position within my designated league, or maybe if this goes through, that top 100 position within the leagues, right? Because I wanted to win that reward, that DEC reward, for instance, that was there. Now, there's also something to be said for the fact that there was a proposal in the past changing from DEC into packs. And Matt actually gets into a little bit with his response. So Matt actually replies now, and he says, I think there are two separate things here. One is increasing the size of the current leaderboard and changing the prizes to packs, and two, other leaderboard opportunities for lower level players. He says, for one, I have no problem with increasing the size of the existing leaderboard and changing the prizes to packs. However, the details of that will need to come from the community in the form of a DAO proposal and vote, because the DAO is the one that holds the packs that will be given out as rewards. I understand there was a proposal in the past, however, that was quite a long time ago, and many things have changed since then, to the point where I feel we need a new proposal. In that case, it was the team's fault for not being able to act on it quickly enough, and I'm going to try and make sure that doesn't happen in the future. So there we go. So we know that we need to do another DAO proposal for any of these changes that may be occurring in the future, no matter what. But the changing it to packs, I don't think that's going to pass now. I know I was just talking to Vugdis, and he says, I would not be okay with putting more packs out of the DAO, using them as leaderboard rewards at this point. And part of the reason for that is because then that would devalue the packs themselves. That would also devalue the Rebellion cards that currently exist. Because if you put more packs on the market out of the DAO, not only do people not get the value from holding the Rebellion packs and having people have to purchase those from the market or from Hive Engine, but also it's going to create more supply of the cards themselves that come out of those packs and put more of those packs into circulation. So obviously increased supply. Who knows if the demand increases or not? If the price goes lower, it may or may not. But I mean, we can see that the prices are going to go down. And for two, I don't see a good way to add lower level leaderboards that makes sense. Players at lower leagues still get glint rewards to earn rewards when they hit a new league and tier, so there's always goals for them to achieve with the rewards. I think this is very similar to most other games that I'm familiar with, and I personally don't see any issue with it or reason to change it. So this is again Matt saying that he doesn't want to go back to leagues, basically. And I mean, that wasn't kind of like anything that I was talking about here, other leaderboard opportunities for lower level players. I was just more talking about extending the existing leaderboards. I'm not saying, and again, we can debate this in another video. I'm not saying bring back leagues so lower level players have a chance at leaderboards again. I mean, I think that might be at this point the direction ahead, but I mean, that's not what we're talking about right now. I'm talking about literally taking these leaderboards and going from place 51 to 100. I mean, we're displaying the top 100 here on this screen. Why not give top 100 some rewards? And I'll give you what I think we should do for that coming up in a moment here. So I actually reply again, and I say, for point 2, I meant that instead of the top 50, it should be top 100 or even top 150. The rewards that came from the leaderboard of the now eliminated bronze, silver, gold, diamond should be added to the only leaderboard that now exists. That would give more players the opportunity to achieve leaderboard positions, make it more competitive, and restore the rewards that used to exist and were removed without being replaced from BSGD. As it is right now, you just took away those leaderboard rewards, created a singular league, then didn't put them back on the tail end of the leaderboard that you left. Those rewards from BSGD should have folded into further leaderboard prizes. I hope this makes sense. And he says, yes, that makes sense. I'm not comfortable doing anything with leaderboard rewards without approval from the SPS stakeholders via a DAO governance vote. So it's basically kind of been thrown back into the DAO at this point in time to decide, hey, do we want to create a proposal that will give players, and I think that if I was going to do this, I'd make it short and sweet. I'd say from 51 to 100. Do we want to go ahead and do we want to give players 51 to 100 on this leaderboard a chance at getting leaderboard prizes again? In my opinion, that's a 100% yes. Because again, there's lots of benefits to having a longer leaderboard and to giving more players the opportunity to compete for that leaderboard. It results in playing more games, maybe buying more energy in order to get on that leaderboard. It results in making rentals of cards that you may not have because you feel like you have a chance to earn one of the rewards. It's got that excitement of trying to grind into that 100th place, for instance, so you'll be able to get that reward, you know? So there's lots of benefits to actually having a longer leaderboard, a leaderboard that feels like it's obtainable. Because when you go ahead and you think about the past, the people who are in this champion leaderboard have always been in the champion leaderboard. The people who kind of suffer are the ones who used to be in bronze, silver, gold, and diamond, especially diamond, who were also playing with max level cards, but just not at the champion level. So when you took away the diamond in particular leaderboard, you basically said, hey, all you max level players, yeah, instead of it being the top 50 in champ and the top 50 in diamond, so it's like 100 places, you're all folded into one, and it basically just like eliminated the diamond players. And on top of that, gold and silver and bronze players, right? So it makes it very difficult. And again, the scholar issue of having one scholar maybe playing 5 accounts and bringing all of those 5 accounts into the leaderboards is still, again, a big issue to me, because that's one player taking 5 positions and not having to fight against themselves to maintain those positions, you know? Whereas if everyone only had one unique account, you'd have to fight against everyone, you know? So if you were positions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you would have to actually fight position 2, 3, 4, and 5 if you were in first, instead of only fighting positions 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and beyond. I hope that makes sense the way I'm trying to describe it, but it is a problem, especially when there's only 50 slots. And like I said, I don't know how many of those 50 are all occupied by the same scholar playing multiple accounts. Now, what would I propose in order to extend these leaderboards? And I'm not being super greedy here. I mean, I'm not saying, hey, let's go ahead, let's turn the 200K into 400K, and let's double this 150 to 300, then make it 200s and 120s. You know, I'm not even talking about that. I'm saying let's at least let's leave it how it is for the top 50. But then let's go ahead and let's do, in this little piece of paper I've written down, let's do like 51 to 75. Let's again meet in the middle. Let's make it 10,000 DEC, you know? And then we can go ahead and we can do 76 to 100. Let's do it 4,000 DEC. And the reason why I say 4,000 DEC is because that's basically a pack, right? If packs are going to be sold for 4,000 DEC, and the pack prices are another issue that I could go on and on about, then I think that would at least be something you could strive for. At least you'd be able to go ahead and you'd be able to win a pack at the end of the season. You know, I would fight more for a pack. If there was like a light at the end of the tunnel that would result in me getting a pack, I would certainly go ahead and I would try and fight for that pack. It would motivate me to actually see myself on the leaderboard with a reward that wasn't just glint. And again, Vugdus was saying, hey, I wouldn't support packs, but I'd support DEC. And I think that this is a fair amount of DEC inflation. It would end up being with 4,000 for places 76 to 100 and 10,000 for places 51 to 75. That would be a total DEC inflation per league of 350,000. When you added up those extra positions, that'd be an extra 350,000 DEC per season. And then when you do it in Wild as well, so you got Modern and Wild, when you do that over the two of them, that's 700,000 in DEC inflation with those numbers that we just talked about at that point. So I mean, it is a lot of DEC inflation, but at the same time, I mean, it's giving the players something that they'd be able to actually fight for and encourage you to maybe go and do those rentals, to maybe buy more packs, buy more cards. So who knows how positive this would end up being for the community and for the game, actually having some more rewards that you'd be able to fight for on the LB. Like I said, I know it would convince me to, instead of right now, just botting Wild, it might bring me back to Modern, where I feel like maybe I'd be able to compete again for leaderboard if it was top 100 instead of just top 50. Sorry, I feel like I've got a perpetual cold. I got 4 kids, as you guys know, and once one of them gets it, cycles through the whole family just nonstop, right? But that's my initial idea here for the leaderboard. I want to know in the comments, do you guys think it's worth it for me to put forward a proposal Like I said, the last one I did was about league locks and bringing back leagues, but you choose the league that you're in right off the bat, and then you can't go out of that league or not. But it was a nightmare for me logistically to try and maintain it. Before I go and do a bunch of work into that, do you guys think that this is something that we should even do to begin with? Is this something that I should even bother to write up a peak D about it and then go through the trouble of answering the 1,000 replies that will come out and try and justify the position of adding 700,000 DEC? And I think that it should be DEC, not packs at this point. Because I mean, if you wanted to, you could use the DEC to buy packs. And if you don't want the packs, you're just going to sell them anyway. And people who rent, they need the DEC to rent the cards that they're going to rent. So I mean, it's just kind of like, yeah, we're doing the inflation, but we're not inflating the card supply necessarily. There's so many ways that you can sync DEC, and there aren't that many ways that you can like sync packs, you know? So let me know what you think about in the comments. Should we go ahead and expand the leaderboards 1 to 100? Should we go beyond that? Do you think that the kind of numbers that I put out there of 10,000 for 51 to 76 and 4,000 for 51 to 75 and 4,000 for 76 to 100, do you think that that's the right balance? Let me know what you think in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, do those things that us YouTube content creators are supposed to say, and I'll see you guys around Pretoria. Peace, take care, my friends.